Round 13, Memphis, Memphis, Tennessee, Pokemon Trading Card Game Regional Championships. Let's go. We've got.
I'm gonna need you to rewind that real quick to bring it all back down. Round.
Zach Zamora, notable for his attempted win in round 9 in Madison with a Alolan Executor, putting that thing on the map. Tropical Dome, not running it back this time. What do we have? Straight Galissapod. Jeff, who's he playing against?
Take a breath real quick, Kirk. We are playing against Rayquaza GX Vikavolt, playing to 2 Shining Lugia. Let's make sure their headphones are on.
Their headphones aren't on. We're the worst people on earth.
Yes.
Here we go. You'd think we'd know this by round 13, but we don't.
I think we had too much of the hype juice in between rounds, Kirk. We might need to. No, we're good. We're good.
This is a great matchup. Super excited for it. And to be honest, all this information is on PokeStats. So we've got a heck of a story for you. Zach Zamora playing a very interesting deck. However, let's focus on Josh Taylor for a second. Coming into day 2, 77th seed, now finds himself at table 5 with 28 points and 2 wins away from making top 8 as the person that limped in the last spot.
Yeah. The goal of those 19 points has to be 5 consecutive wins with only 5 rounds to do that. So got to be flawless here. And right now he's 3-0 through it.
Very exciting. And again, as we mentioned before, Zach Zamora playing a very interesting deck, one that we wanted to get on camera. However, we wanted to get away from Malamar. But the storyline has presented itself that Zach Zamora, with his very exciting deck that we want to cover, and Josh Taylor, there is no better expression than fighting from underneath than Josh Taylor right now.
The true underdog story brought to you by Memphis TCG Regionals.
Pokemon Trading Card Game, ready to do some work here. Josh Taylor, 2 wins away from top 8. Zach Zamora, same situation. Only difference is Josh, 77th seed. Let's see if he can do it.
I got to see Zach's list a little bit here to see kind of what the strategy would be here to go and approach this Rayquaza matchup. Trying to see if there's any like dumbbells, but it looks like it's just a lot of like Acerola healing and kind of just taking the blows as they come. He does play Bacargo with it, so it's kind of just a straightforward, just straight Galissapod deck. Just handle itself. First impression, armor press.
Yeah, he's got a lot of
crossing cut. Just go right through the motions.
He does have a lot of interesting one-of attackers in here and some rainbow energies to take advantage of that. Something to note, I'm taking a look here. He does have – did we get the green light? Are they headphones on?
I don't know. Let's just wait a second here.
All right. Well, we'll spin you a different yarn here while we make sure they get set up. Let's
take a look and see what the top 4 tables are right now, actually, other than just what we have right now. So, and to see how
I can't imagine their headphones aren't on. They're drawing cards. I just saw Zach Zamora adjust his. So
okay, we're good to go. Cool.
Zach Zamora is playing a baby Galissapod in his straight Galissapod deck. And we say straight Galissapod in the sense that historically we see Galissapod paired up with Zoroark GX. Not the deal today. Zach going thick supporter line. Galissapod going to try and use a lot of first impressions, armor presses to get damage on the board.
There's a lot of unique things too. He's even played a Wimpod, the non-Wimpod ability there to kind of mitigate any like additional. What I've been told before, Xander Bennett also did the same thing at Elite Cup where he played one off Wimpod to avoid any additional Weave Out spread damage or ability damage there. So kind of just mitigating that there. But we start ready underway
ready to
going into the game.
Josh Taylor with that ever-present grubbin lead that we've seen these Rayquaza decks have. Honestly, not a good showing for Rayquaza decks on camera in these last 2 days.
No, they have not. It's been kind of the unlucky word for them as whenever they're on streams. I think they're 0-3, 0-4 now.
Yeah, it's not looking too good. Josh looking to break that streak on his quest to a top 8. And Zach, as you see, starting one of those tech attackers that he will try to strap up with a rainbow energy, and that is Baby Buzzwole.
Here's the great thing, too. If Josh does not take a second to look at PokeStats to see what Zach is playing here, this Buzzwole is active. So his strategy may be completely different to when those Wimpods start coming down as well.
Absolutely. In the age of information, if it's presented to you, I'd take advantage of it. There's no reason these players shouldn't know what each other are playing with all just the free information out there. So we see a Rayquaza come down, Stormy Winds, doesn't hit an energy in the blind. So we are forced with a manually attachment here. Grubbin staying in the active. We do see a Vikavolt Lily for 5 cards, bringing him up to 8, and he's just looking for a rare candy or a way to get one in the following turn.
Saw Lily here. 2 Grubbins already down, which is what you want to see with these Rayquaza decks here. You don't want to see one go down and not have a chance to get the turn 2 Vikavolt. So Fortunate enough,
pass here.
just a pass.
Zach drawing off the top. That is a Grass Energy and a Great Ball. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. If a Pokemon is in there, you may choose one, put it into your hand.
You know, these 2 times we've seen Zach now playing very unique decks here to kind of just play to his strength. And, you know, with that uniqueness, a lot of people can't test for it and understand how to approach these different matchups. We saw with a Lone Exeggutor and Madison, and now he's going to see this Wimpod come down.
What historically people would say is the worst of the 2 Wimpods because it doesn't have the Wimp Out ability. Zach saying, nope, this is the one I want. I don't want to have unnecessary abilities on my board. We're good to go.
Yeah, this one has a unique attack called Scamper Away. For 1 colorless energy, it says shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it to its deck. So I guess it's another option to clear your board off if it's active, conserve a Grass Energy, and promote a different Pokemon.
He does grab that Wimpod, doesn't bench it quite yet. Acrobike shows Zach a Choice Band and a Guzma.
Very tough call here. We do know he's playing Rayquaza. He does want to get to those 180 numbers fairly easily there. So that Choice Band Guzma decision is very, very tough here. Progressy to Guzma, go to the bin.
Guzma does go to the bin. Wimpod with a Grass Energy comes down. Nest Ball going to find Zach another Pokemon to put on his bench. Maybe it's time to start setting up his Slugma Magcargo line.
I think Slugma must be coming to the bench here right now since he already has the 1 Wimpod already. But there's a lot of, with these different techs he has the Baby Buzz here that can also help get to that 180 number. But unfortunately for him, just like he's playing that Diancie just to get there. But Coco Spread, another option here that Zach has. Very, very technical deck here that he has.
Zach has the ability to take 1-hit knockouts with Cross and Cut GX, so if he uses that at an ideal time in the game, could really use that to pivot from maybe a position of fighting from behind to coming back in the lead. We will see the Rare Candy Vikavolt onto the benched Grubbin. Little Grubbin sitting in the active. We see a Guzma in hand as well.
So we're probably going to see a strong charge here to the Rayquaza. Guzma, Lele, and this is really interesting. I'm curious if he's going to keep setting up Rayquazas. Is he going to go after the Wimpod or Slugma? I'd probably venture to say is go after the Slugma and go ahead and take up the support side of Zach's board.
I think Josh can have it any way he wants here. Mysterious Treasure dumping a Grass Energy. If he grabs a Rayquaza, we know that Stormy wins. It will mill 3 cards. However, it will guaranteed hit because he's putting that Grass Energy in the discard. And then he has Strong Charge, and then he has Guzma. So he's got a KO on anything on Zach's bench here.
Yeah, very, very strong start for Josh. Going to have 2 Rays out, has a turn 2 Vikavolt. This is what you want to see when you're playing Rayquaza. Running smoothly, getting everything. All bells and whistles turning, and he's going to be able to take a knockout here if he opts to play that Guzma.
So you're thinking he's going to eye down the Slugma, get rid of that setup. With only 1 Wimpod and the energy on the board, that's a very tasty target, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, they both are very feasible to go after. They both have their merits there, but at the end of the day, you saw his turn was not the strongest. Only 1 Wimpod, energy down just a Slugma. So it's kind of like in the merit, if you see Rayquaza put the 1 Grubbin down, you want to kind of tackle that away. And maybe on the flip side, and he's opted to take out the Wimpod.
We will see a knockout here on the Wimpod. It's to note on that Stormy Winds, Josh Taylor did get rid of a Rescue Stretcher and one of his 2 Energy Recycler. And as we saw just a few rounds ago, 1 to be exact, now that my memory is catching up to my words, that kind of led to Jose's demise against that Zora control deck. Magcargo coming down right off the cusp. We do see the baby Golisopod going to the discard with a double colorless energy. Last card in hand is a Choice Band.
Actually, no, that might have been. It works out for him actually go after that Wimpod now, because if that baby Golisopod would have came to the bin, it would have been attached DCE, Choice Band, and if your Pokemon's attack is Grass double colorless, 80, 70 more damage if the actives of GX or EX. That's 150, Choice Band 180, knockout on the Rayquaza. Oh, and it looks like we see a scoop to go to game 2.
It looks like the Lele was prized, and Zach knew he was drawing dead with another 2. Was that 2 Wimpod in the prizes?
Yes.
Just rough prizes these last couple rounds, and I know that is a part of variance in the game. However, we're trying to bring you something worth watching here, and unfortunately, these prizes aren't cooperating with us right now.
RNG for you, man. It does happen. Hopefully for his next game here, Zach gets a good shuffle in, and he's able to get a better setup here. I mean, one win pod, one slugma, and not much else after that.
Zach is going to be on the play, which will at least allow him to evolve his Wimpods into Glissopods before Josh really gets the ball rolling. And as you mentioned, Grass Energy, DCE, Choice Band, he can start taking knockouts really early on those Rayquazas and put Josh in the position where he really needs to start using backup single prize attackers like Shining Lugia, which is his choice. No Delmites today for Josh. Shining Lugia is what he decided to bring to the table.
Absolutely there. I think Zach has a lot of options here, man. He does play what a lot of these decks have been doing through like 4 Lily, so people to get that turn 1 with Lily. Get a couple more Wimpods down, that Slugma, and maybe we can have a big turnaround with Zach because, you don't play a deck not knowing, not expected to take a loss of Rayquaza. You have your outs too. You have your strategy to beat this deck, so hopefully he can get through the punches, get through everything on his deck, and be able to solidify that strategy to win this game too.
We're going to see 7 cards on their way for both players, hoping to get a little bit better than what we got last time. Zach going to be starting with that Tapu Koko promo, very well known, not necessarily for its flying flip, which is an incredibly strong attack, but that free retreat that it provides.
It's a great pivot for Gliscopod because of that first impression attack. It needs to come from active to the bench, and then from there you do that additional effect of getting that plus 90 there. So opts to have the Shining Cocoa as well. That's why it's a little hard for us to see there. But he has the graceful charcoal dark cocoa shining right there.
Acrobike is how Zach kicks off game 2 of round 13. We'll see what he elects to take off this Acrobike. Acerola going to the discard. Grass Energy to the hand. Wimpod.
There we go. Now we're getting going.
Nest Ball.
And a Lele.
Nest Ball Slugma. Lily, let's go.
All right, now we're getting going here. We're definitely going to see that exact sequence, what Kirk just said here. Probably going to get the Lily here. Looks like he skimmed past it, but probably do a little bit of inventory check, see what's in his deck, see what might be prized, and go on from there.
It is to note, since Zach is playing a straight Gliscopod version of this deck, well, it is the version of the deck that it is, but not playing any Zoroark GX, that means he needs to play more supporters to make up for the fact that he won't have access to such a powerful draw engine as trade. So that's why you see 4 copies of Lily. You will see a Pal Pad, so he can get those resources back into his deck so he can keep a heavy stream of cards going throughout the game.
Absolutely there. So, yep, right on cue like your taker. Nest Ball, Slugma, Lele for the Lily. Been a little bit of tongue twist for me this weekend. Lele for the Lily. 2 Wimpod. Coco active. He's ready to go. Hopefully he can get some solid cards off this Lily 2. Draw up to 8 cards.
He will. I can only imagine we'll see a Grass Energy go down so that Lily can net him 1 more card. I believe he has 2 cards left in hand, so this Lily will get him 6 more.
I think he's in a very good spot right now. He is, oh, yeah.
Mad Cargo is so good. He's got the DCE. If he can find a Choice Band and just start going gorilla on these GX Pokemon that Josh inevitably is going to be bringing to the table here, we can have maybe just a quick game 2 and resolve this thing over a game 3. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Jeff. Great ball. 7 cards off the top coming. Baby Gliscopod is what he wants to see.
And I think just it's a Wimpod right there. But opposite get the Ringaroo. I like it now. Now he's really just fully set up. 2 attackers. Got your card selection Pokemon, and a Rangaroo to be able to draw additional cards. So it has great synergy with Smooth Over. Your hand's low enough, Smooth Over, put the card top of your deck, and it's instruct for that 1 card.
Absolutely. Rangaroo, as you mentioned, hitting the bench, a pass, and this is a night and day setup for Zach from game 1 to game 2. Let's see if Josh can match that turn 1 intensity. Grubbin coming down. Lele manually attached to the active, maybe to give him a retreat option. Lele Wonder Tag.
That's going to be crucial having those 2 170s down there. Very easy knockouts for Gliscopod to take, especially if he gets a Coco spread. Now it's just first impression choice band of either Lele at this point. So, unfortunately, he had to bench those, though, to be able to get a progressive setup.
It might be such the case that if Zach sets up these Gliscopod, he might be able to target down the Leles and 1 Rayquaza and not even have to deal with the Vicavolts at any point in time and really just put tons of pressure on. Of course, as you mentioned, turn 1, Lele for Lily. That's the turn you want to use it. Draws you up to 8 rather than 6 if you were to play it at any other point in time in the game.
Yeah, he needs to definitely get some Rayquazas down here. And unfortunately, with the 2 Leles, he has to kind of work around with his bench space now, only able to really just kind of prioritize getting those Grubbin and Lele's, Grubbin and Rayquazas down. But not the best turn one, Lily. Only able to get 4 cards off of it, while it's still productive. Maybe his other 4 cards were useful enough for him. Usually you want to try to see your Lily for 6+ cards to really get the full effect of it.
We do see another Grubbin come down, and we can kind of see the rare candy in his hand. His Volkner was the last draw off of that Lily, so he is going to be able to find his way to a Vikavolt next turn.
We might be seeing a Tapu Lele Vikavolt deck here for the next couple turns. We don't see any Rayquazas.
Magcargo comes down. Grass Energy attached to the other Wimpod. So maybe lulling Josh with false sense of security here, and then Baby Gliscopod going to come through and really put on a hurting. Smooth over, grabs a card, didn't quite catch it, Jeff. Did you see it?
I did not. I was I'm still eyeing down that he looks like he's going for like the initial first impressions. I thought maybe the Cocoa spread to set up those Lele's for additional first impressions later on. Oh, Kukui. Okay, so Kukui put it at 140, Choice Band 170. So kind of what the play was is a different route too there.
And again, what it allows it to do is okay, you've got Gliscopod GX in the active. This is the problem you have to deal with, number 1.
Oh. Sorry, I just caught what you're going. Yeah,
that's problem number 1, and he's still got Baby Gliscopod in the tank to be able to step up with it.
And not even then, now it just sets up also, because of the choice band out there too, is that Gliscopod's active now. If he has a way to get to that Lele again with Guzma, now crossing cut GX for the additional knockout, bring it back to bench also. That's 2 easy 4 prizes back-to-back turns. And he has a big hand. I'm sure he has the DCE Guzma.
And looking through Josh's list, he doesn't really have any way to disrupt Zach outside of Marshadow. However, the way his setup is looking now, I would be remiss to say that he's even going to employ that strategy, because he needs to get his game plan going before he can even consider disrupting what Zach's got going on.
Yeah, we need to see his Rayquaza come to the bin very fast and get this turn 2 Vikavolt, because Zach's going through all punches. He has the Magcargo. He has a massive hand right now, and has everything he needs. So if he can get to the Marshadow, plus get some 2 Rayquazas on the board, I think we'll see a big turnaround here for for Josh.
Nestball might find a Rayquaza, not triggering the Stormy Winds, as Nestball puts the Pokemon directly onto your bench, and Stormy Winds reads directly from hand to bench. So Stormy Winds not going to be active there, not an option for Josh. However, it is important that he gets a Rayquaza down, as you mentioned, so once he inevitably gets the Vikavolt that we know he has for this turn, he can start loading it up with some energy. So he's got an attacker of his own.
So Rare Candy, Vikavolt, Strong Charge, going to come down, and it does have a Guzma, so you can't – it looks like he has Grass in hand plus Guzma, so you might be able to take out the Magcargo here if you wanted to. It just depends. Yep, so –
Okay. As you mentioned, we know Zach has the DCE, and we're about to see a crossing cut GX for a knockout on this Rayquaza.
Yeah, it's not even a Lele now. He's stuck with the Rayquaza getting KO'd, so it's almost like, okay, you took out my Magcargo, but I'm taking out your only
Tempest GX. We're going to see a Tempest GX.
Oh.
That's what that signifies to me. That's strong charge. 1 on the Lele, 1 on the Vikavolt. Leads me to believe that Josh says, I just need more cards. Let me see more cards.
So, and it's a good pivot, too, because now Rayquaza is active, and keeping the Magcargo there, meaning that if Zach does have a Guzma, is going to come onto the Lele or the Vikavolt versus this Rayquaza GX. But we shall see what Josh gets off those 10 cards.
Tempest GX, discard your hand, draw 10. Apologize for talking over you there. Tempest GX, discard your hand, draw 10. Only a switch going to the discard. 10 new cards in Josh's hand. Zach feeling a knockout here if he can get his way to a Guzma. Or a switching effect.
Yeah, I'm curious what's going to smooth over here. He does play Acrobite. So he probably has the Acrobite in his hand to get whatever piece he needs. He might be eyeing down a Guzma. He doesn't already have it there. But I wonder if taking the KO to Vikavolt would be worth it, because he has the other Grubbin. So maybe just doing that more aggressive play, take out the Lele, and then just getting ready to take out the final blow on the Rayquaza when the opportunity arises.
Again, as you mentioned, that cheeky Gliscopod on Baby Gliscopod with the ability to deal some serious damage to GX and EX Pokemon.
All right, so this is what we're doing here. So he's going to Guzman Lele here, and he probably did put that Baby Glycopod or the piece to the final piece of the puzzle, whether it's Choice Band or the Glycopod itself, and get ready for when our Rayquaza does come up. Even if he knocks out his Glycopod, he has to return knockout with the baby.
Yep. Can't go unnoted that with that knockout, Zach did get another energy off of Josh's side of the board, which makes him just need one more to be able to reach that critical 210. Second Vikavolt helps.
Yeah, so he'll be able to strong charge 2 energies. It's going to be 4 more down, putting him at 6. Plus attachment return will be 7. So the opportunity is there if all the energy is in his deck. However, where are you going to put this energy at? Are you going to put him on the Vikavolts? Because you can't put on Rayquaza. If you put it there and all those go to the discard pile, you're going to be really far behind at that point.
Step 1, strong charge onto the Rayquaza, get your attacker set up. Step 2, get more energy on the board. Might go to the Vikavolt that's already carrying an energy.
Yep.
Might do a split so that one strong charge can allow the Vikavolt to retreat if it tries to get trapped in the active. However, Zach, if he has Baby Glycopod and a Choice Band, we already know he has the DCE, I believe, tucked in there.
Marshadow's going to the discard pile off of the Stormy Winds, but it's going to attack his Grass Energy too. This Rayquaza still has an attach return, so he'll definitely get to the point to where he has enough energy to KO Glycopod if he chooses to. Not sure if I see a Guzma or not in his hand. It might be there right in front of that Grass Energy.
Yeah, I believe it was 2 or 3 cards back from the right-hand side.
So it's definitely an option there if you want to go for that point there. But if Zach did set himself up correctly with that smooth over, we could be seeing that Baby Glycopod coming in for the knockout with Choice Band to take this to a Game 3.
Game 3, Zach looking down, 2 Rayquazas ready to Dragon Break through his team. Guzma, I believe, is in Josh's hand, so he's going to have a knockout here on any Pokemon on Zach's side of the board. And it's hard to not get rid of that Glycopod that's carrying the 2 energy and the Choice Band. Or excuse me, the 3 energy and the Choice Band.
Yeah, so I think that's going to have to be a target of choice here. Yep, and right on cue right there. Kirk going in, going to be able to take this Glycopod GX out. Dragon Burst hitting him for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 240.
240 damage. That is quite enough. Rescue Stretcher going to find Zach a Wimpod. His series of actions here is leading me to believe that maybe he doesn't have the pieces he needs for a knockout on the Rayquaza GX through the Baby Glycopod.
Yeah, and at this point, too, it's not like you can just go after the Vikavolts. He has 2 out there now, so Strong Charge is going to stay into effect full here. So maybe not the turn of events we thought might have happened for Zach. Maybe the Glycopod is that one of those last 2 prizes there. We're going to try to see if we can keep up with him in his deck search, see if we see it. There it is right there.
There's Baby Glycopod. He's going to select it, evolve immediately. He needs to find a draw supporter and find himself Choice Band DCE. Cynthia's going to start. Not going to use Smooth Over just yet. Trying to see if maybe he can Smooth Over and use Acrobike.
You get that combo that way.
To get the final piece he needs. So he's looking for a few things here off the 6 to really close the door on this game and give himself ample time in Game 3.
Absolutely there. And, yeah, just Choice Band DC needed here. Combo, Smooth Over potentially with Acrobike, and we could maybe get there. But after that, if he does not get this knockout with the Baby Glycopod, he is probably out of this game almost.
We see the DCE Ultra Ball.
He got there. He has Acrobike in hand, Smooth Over for the Choice Band. Going to put it on top of the deck if there's one left.
There it
Okay.
is.
Choice Band, Acrobike. Choice Band, boom.
Picking it up. All right, we're going into Game 3 with 30 minutes left. Nice to see a good back-and-forth game there. Zach did establish an early lead and was able to set up a game plan. He said, I don't care about your Grubbins. I don't care about your Vikavolts. I am targeting down all these GX Pokemon, and we're just going to do this with 3 OHKOs.
It was great because he had 3 outs to KOs. Kukui, First Impression, Lele, Guzma, Crossing Cut, KO on the Rayquaza. And then lastly, being able to hit him with a Baby Glycopod for that exact 180.
I believe that second knockout, Jeff, was Tapu Lele GX that was on the bench when he Guzma'd it up because the Rayquaza was in the active with the Tempest GX. However, it's important to note that the moment he did that, we knew that his game plan was to just completely stay away from those Vikavolts. I don't care about that. I know that's not how I'm going to win this game. I see my 2 GX Pokemon on the board, and that's what I'm going to gun down.
Exactly there, and I was able to go through everything as planned. Resolute Claws coming in for the last KO on that Rayquaza GX here. But yeah, so with Zach's all these different options to get to that 180, 170 number there, you got to say that if he draws or sets up like he did turn 1 during game 2, we could be seeing another finish similar to that fashion there. However, Marshadow's still in his list. For turn 1, Marshadow is very powerful, as we've seen through a lot of our matches during this weekend, and it could inevitably just tear apart the setup for Zach.
Turn 1 let loose has ravaged some players throughout day 1 and day 2, and we can't pass over its power that it has when played on turn 1 before your opponent has an opportunity to set up.
Absolutely there. I'm trying to think here, Josh honestly just kind of a little bit, I want to say he had like the improper any plays or anything like that. It was more so just kind of a slower setup than what you see with these Rayquaza Vikavolt decks. But I imagine here we're going to see some story wims coming out early. We're going to see about 3 Rayquazas come down. A couple Grubbins and probably let loose is what we want to eye down if I was Josh.
The fact that he started that Tapu Lele GX was just another easy Pokemon. 2 free prizes, as we say, for Zach. And I think that's even more so after he saw Josh's turn 1 where he had to bench another Tapu Lele GX to guarantee him some amount of setup. Zach immediately identified, I'm going the GX route, just taking 3 knockouts, and we're going to go to game 3, see if we can rinse and repeat that strategy. Another Tapu Koko promo start for Zach, so he will have that free retreater in the active. A pretty decent looking hand for Zach. I believe I saw draw support in there. Nest Ball, a couple other Pokemon.
Rayquaza over on Josh's side. Josh's return. Can't really tell what's in his hand just yet. We do see a Vikavolt, but after that, I do not see much. Maybe, but we need to see some mysterious treasures. We need to see some Nest Balls for these Grubbin and get this ball rolling.
Ultra Ball, Lightning Energy going away.
I'm a merit to say, or guess, put $5 down. He's probably going to get a Lele for a Lily here. What do you think, Kirk?
That has been what everybody has defaulted to when given these options. We have seen a couple Rayquaza players, based on their hand, grab a Pokemon fan club. However, Josh not playing that today. Just Guzma, Volkner, and Lily.
3
Cynthia.
solid supporters.
I'm not even telling the truth.
All
Lily,
the supporters.
Cynthia, Volkner, Guzma. Less impressive when I have to revisit that statement.
Nest Ball, going to grab a Grubbin here, get to the bench, and then probably touch an energy, grass energy to the active Rayquaza. Lily for the 8, up to 8, not exactly 8, but definitely getting a very strong start here on Josh's side.
It's already looking a lot better than before. We don't see Tapu Lele's on the bench yet, or in play yet. This Lily going to get him back up to 8 cards. Really would like to get a Rayquaza down and use Stormy Winds. Well, on cue.
There you go. There you go.
Rescue Stretcher,
Ooh,
Lightning
that's gonna be
Energy,
huge.
Grass Energy. A lot of energy hitting the bin.
That's kind of the scary thing with these Stormy Winds, that you can't control what gets discarded there. So you could definitely, you might be able to discard 2 Rescue Stretcher or even 2 Energy Recycler. It can happen, and that can greatly hinder your strategy here. But Lily dropped 8 cards, going to be able to get 7.
He is going to get 7, but not before benching that Shining Lugia.
All right, this is a very strong start. Getting the second Nest Ball down. Going to grab the second Grubbin, and he is just probably going to just pass after that.
Get a safety Grubbin, just a little backup, so he doesn't put himself in a position where something wonky can happen and he loses Grubbin on Zach's turn 1. Shining Lugia, Argent Wing, not going to be able to. Could take a knockout on what we would consider the good Wimpod. Can't take a knockout on what we consider the bad one.
That'd be another reasoning right there, right? It's just because that having that ability there, be able to withstand an easy KO from Shiny Lugia. A lot of different options to have that. The awkward Wimpod, the cousin out.
Oh boy, never mind. That supporter I saw was a Kukui. That's no bueno.
That's a
my
big
friend.
yikes, Kirk. That's a big yikes.
That is no bueno. No Lele for Lily on turn 1. Nest Ball going to go into the discard. Maybe a Wimpod coming
I think he already has Wimpod in his hands. So he might be getting a Slugma here as he goes through just the inventory check to see what's going on. How come I do not have my supporters right now? Are they prized? But it looks like he just might have had the bad end of that shuffle there. But we'll see how he proceeds here. We do see the Wimpod. Slugma coming down. So if he can avoid an explosive turn on Josh's side, he could probably gather himself to get ready for his second turn.
after that Kukui, Josh maybe breathing a sigh of relief, saying Zach's setup might not be as impressive as it was last game. DCE comes down on Tapu Koko. Zach says, I'm going to get some damage when I can. We'll probably end his turn announcing Flying Flip, but we're not quite to that point yet. And, of course, as I say that, Flying Flip, 20s across the board.
20 Kukui, making that additional 20 coming out on the Rayquaza GX and active. It would have been fun to know if he had the choice band there, put him up to that 70, make it a little bit easier for first impression, get a KO the following turn.
Am I missing something? Why does that Rayquaza have 40 on it?
Kukui.
Oh, of course, for the turn. Yep.
But Rare Candy, Vikavolt, Strong Charge. Going to load up this active Rayquaza here, take the knockout on this Tapu Koko. And because Zach did not get like a grass energy or anything on that bench Wimpod, it's not going to do much. He's going to need to hit Choice Band and Glycopod GX and the grass energy to be able to take the KO. And see, even then, he has to find a way to pivot it up there.
It's just not looking good for Zach. Josh even has the Cynthia on his turn after the Strong Charge. Let's get those energies out to make sure I'm drawing just the best cards possible out of my deck. Once the Strong Charge is set up, it's much less important to have energies in your hand than it is to keep them in your deck.
Absolutely, absolutely here. Drawing 6 here. Probably going to get another Vikavolt set up, but right now he's just kind of he's relaxed, man. Rayquaza, once it gets to this point, you're just kind of attaching energy, attacking, taking out the board. Is really just figuring out what you want to KO, you know, what you want to Guzman, what you want to bring up. But it looks like he's going to be Solace here and just take the KO on the active Tapu Koko.
Tapu Koko and double colorless energy go down. Wimpod moving to the front. Wimpod moving to the bench.
So there is a Glycopod GX in his hand, but there's no grass energy, so it's just a very, very, very tough right now for Zach to pilot through. I don't see what all he could do right now as far as playing defensive. Like he could probably let's see, plays the one Judge, might be able to get that off. Maybe that might set back Josh just enough, but he already has Strong Charge, already has 5 energy out there. So attach Strong Charge, it's going to put him at 8 energy. Just plenty to KO or returning Glycopod GX. So very, very tough spot to be in right now.
Smooth over. Zach thumbing through his deck. What card does he need to get him out of this very precarious situation? We will find out shortly.
He's going to have to figure out a way. Let's see if he has any switch-type cards as far as like Escape Rope or Switch. He doesn't have those, unfortunately, there. He may have had a chance to be able to evolve Grass Energy to bench, Choice Band, and maybe switch to the Glycopod and take the knockout on top of the Judge. Lots of pieces. Very tough to do, but unfortunately he's missing that out.
I think he has an Ultra Ball in his hand.
So
and he was eyeing it up to play, I think, and then realized if I play it now, I'm losing my Smooth Over card.
So what probably happened there is he wants
wanted
to
get
Ultra Ball
Ultra Ball to Oranguru.
And then smooth
over and get that card.
And now he's going to have to wait one turn to be able to do so. A little frazzled. He's going to do it anyway, looks like. Oh, okay, sorry.
Maybe just an evolution. Glycopod does have the armor ability, so if for some reason Josh doesn't put an energy back down on the field, I believe armor reduces the damage output of your opponent's attacks by 30, which means 150 minus 30, 120. Glycopod in the baby form, 130 HP.
Yeah, he's going to be able to hold strong there for at least one more turn, but, you know, Strong Charge.
Strong Charge is going to put that to bed real quick.
Yeah, Strong Charge is going to – yeah, exactly what you said there, Kirk. And, yeah, this is not looking good right now for Zach here. I'm trying to go through his list right now, figure out what his outs are. He's going to have to figure out some big combo to where, you know, KO and active, Judge. Man, I don't know. This is really
Zach's
tough.
not even shuffling his opponent's deck anymore. I think he's just putting him through the paces. Once he recognized the blunder he made, it's just tough to come back. What was his card that he put on top?
I don't know what he put on top of his deck. Right. Looks like it was
he put Oranguru on top of his deck. Okay, maybe he didn't have the Ultra Ball. There was no pause there. We are going to Palpad that Kukui back in. The only supporter he's played so far this game, just trying to whittle his hand down so he can instruct into hopefully something that is amazing.
I'm not sure how many cards Josh has his hand. One play he could do here is also Guzman to Vikavolt, and maybe he can do a turn to where Josh can't get it out of active and he catches back up. But this is rough.
Zach is going to have his ability, or excuse me, have the ability to get whatever card he's smooth over for through Orangaru's Instruct ability. I believe he pulled a Judge out trying to disrupt Josh, but I think it's a bit too late for that.
He's going to need like a really big prayer here because here's the thing. That Macargo is now stuck active. So even with the Judge here, he can't retreat it. There's no escape ropes, no switches in his list. So he's going to be able to Judge, but he already has 3 energy on that active Josh. He's going to be active Rayquaza. He's going to take the knockout on that Macargo.
He instructs for 2, and the Judge promptly comes down, going to try and disrupt Josh Taylor. Just a hair here as he hopes to draw just the best 4 cards of his career to mount some form of comeback.
He's going to need some cards and then some cards on top of those cards to be able to get back on this one because it's I hate to be pessimistic here, Kirk, but I just really can't see anything going well for him right now.
Yeah, I think we've passed the threshold of having a reasonable chance of rallying back. However, at this stage of the game, round 13, you have got to play to any sliver percentage chance that you have. Acrobike into Acrobike, the classic maneuver. Acerola DCE, I guess you take the energy because you haven't attached one of those yet.
Oh, man.
DC coming down, Nest Ball.
Gonna grab a Wimpod to back up Slugma here. But, I mean, so he's going to come down. He's going to lose the Macargo. Going to go down to 3 prizes. Zach can cross and cut the following turn, or actually he might be able to pull off a first impression play, take the knockout as well with Coco and active now, and then save his cross and cut for a upcoming. Actually, what you could do, 100, 130, no, 10 short, sorry. So I was thinking about maybe a potential armor press play to make it harder for Rayquaza to knock it out in the following turn. But Macario goes down, pronotes Glycopod, first impression, takes a knockout there, and if Josh can't get the 7 energy, maybe doesn't hit the energy recycler and doesn't get the strong charge, that Gillespie can last one more turn and take one more additional knockout before Josh does.
Josh going to Ultra Ball away a Lillian and Cynthia, just bragging to Zach with all the draw support he has.
He got judged to Rare Candy, Vikavolt, Cynthia.
Rough life. Zach is just running his hands on his forehead like, what did I do to deserve this?
This is an onslaught
My massacre
right now.
is being broadcast to everyone at home right now. At least he looked style in Game 2. Game 3, off the rails, Jeff.
Oh, man, this is it's so like demoralizing to see that you do the Judge or even a let loose and your opponent gets more than what they had previously.
Yep, now you just have a second Vikavolt. He's got strong charges for days. Whew.
So looks like, hold on, let's see if he does another skim through for us. Those might be the last 2 energies he has. Okay, smart play here. Okay, this is real smart here. He held the last lightning that he pulled here because if he were to attach that and let's say he had really nowhere to put it at there, but if he was going to lose that energy there, he could have strong charged to get to that 7 energy the following turn and knock out the Glycopod. So holding that there to guarantee he will have 7 regardless of what happens next turn is a good play on Josh's end.
Zach maybe just breathing a sigh of relief that it wasn't a Guzman to the Glycopod for the knockout. So in theory, he has another attacker here. Tapu Koko coming to the active with a free retreat. Guzman off the top.
Oh, no grass
Zach,
energy.
Zach shuffling 2 cards as if he expects them to change. Maybe sets them down, takes a look again. Nope.
I think he's out to decide if he wants to instruct first or maybe Guzman up the Vikavolt and then instruct for an additional 2 cards.
With only a lightning.
Oh, look at
one,
instruct for 1.
Energy,
Got the grass. So we're gonna get the first impression knockout. That's for sure. But man.
Are we?
Oh wait, he doesn't have choice band.
No, he needs to cross and cut if he wants a knockout here.
Cross and cut GX. Oh man.
God, this is just off the rails. Cross and cut. That's the saddest cross and cut I've ever seen. Glycopod might be in its evolution form, but it just wimped out to the bench, crossing its fingers that it just doesn't get eaten alive by these dragons. And now Shining Lugia in the active.
It looks like the story of Josh Taylor is going to continue until they're winning in match. Going to potentially seal this deal here. Go to 4-0 in day 2, starting at that 77 seed and doing the unthinkable.
Zach Zamora putting up a fight. 4 prizes left to Josh's 3. A promotion of the Shining Lugia to the active. Strong charge, numero uno. Grass Energy Lightning goes through. Double attached to the bench to Rayquaza.
Sometimes you just look over there and just look and go, man, this is not fair right now. But he's even put up the Shining Lugia. Got to be able to.
Very interested as to why the Shining Lugia came into the active when he could easily have a knockout with the Rayquaza.
He probably has Guzma in hand to take out the Golisopod.
On cue, we see the writing on the wall. Guzma onto Golisopod. Rayquaza coming to the active. Knockout. Dragon Break.
Yeah.
Josh Taylor just showing off how many cards he has in his hand. Zach Zamora draws for turn. Was it a Golisopod GX? I don't know if that opens any doors for him. He extends the hand, and that is it. Zach Zamora falls to Josh Taylor on the miracle run here. 77th seed going into day 2. Rattles off 4 wins, and now he's knocking on the door of a top 8 berth.
A big chance here coming into this next round to get a top 8 berth here. Coming in, grinding through 4 tough rounds right now. 4-0 with Rayquaza Vikavolt going into round 14.
If there's any man that could snap the losing streak of Vikavolt Ray, of course it was the guy that's on the miracle run. That being said, we will be right back in just a moment with our round 13 winner, Josh Taylor. Catch you in a bit. Welcome back. I am here post round 13 with our round 13 winner, Josh Taylor. How you doing? You got to be feeling good.
Feeling great.
Feeling real good. My man walks into day 2, 77th place, rattles off 4 straight wins. Another win makes you look golden for top 8. You got to be feeling just on cloud 9 right now.
Oh, I am. I don't even know how to describe it.
So talk to me a little bit about your deck selection for this weekend.
Rayquaza Vikavolt, go fast. Big damage.
Go fast, big damage. You heard it here from the kid. So in a perfect world scenario, what would you like to face off against round 14 for your win and in match?
Anything but Shrine.
Anything but Shrine. And as we mentioned earlier, I don't know if you're keeping track of what's in the field, but Buzz Shrine has completely fallen off.
Yep.
There's a bunch of other stuff out there. Buzz Shrine is not one of them. So I think you have a pretty good odd of fading that. So how are you feeling in that game 3 when you see kind of his start be not nearly as good as game 2? Or do you just see, if I just execute my game plan, we can pick up a W here?
Yep. My first thought was, how am I going to throw this away? And then just relaxed and did what I had to do.
All right. Always humble. Josh Taylor, best of luck to you next round.
Thank you.
Any closing notes you want to say about the deck, the tournament, or anything otherwise? Floor is yours, my man.
Shout out to Team Taste, my brother and my whole group I travel with. I couldn't do this without them. And it's just been unreal today.
James Taylor, your brother, correct? No.
Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor, excuse me. Your brother did top 8 regional recently, did he not?
Yep.
With
Madison.
Ultra Necrozma Malamar.
Yep.
Okay. I apologize for messing up your name out there, Zach. My fault. I was trying to go back in my memory banks and didn't quite get there. So big shout out to your brother, Team Taste. You are on your winning in for a top 8 here in Memphis, Tennessee. We will be right back to round 14 action, and hopefully our man finishes the miracle run into top 8. Catch you in a bit.